Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello, welcome to this video. Alright, dear audience, before we start our adventure to unfold this poem, let me introduce the presenter of this video, which none other than me. Hi, I'm Alia Windi Pangesti from English Literature major with student number written on the slide. It's a choice for mentioning student number when it's already written after that, right? So please be diligent and read it yourself. Okay, anyway, let us move to next slide. Here we have the disclaimer section. As it has been stated, this analysis is merely based on the presenter knowledge after doing close reading and try to read between the poem lines. So please excuse me for the interpretation mistake in this video. Leaving this slide, we have this picture of our beautiful and brilliant poet, Marianne. She was an American modernist poet, critic, translator, and editor. She was remarkable for her use of wit, irony, and syllabic verse. As an active feminist, she was heavily involved in women's suffrage movement in the United States, often supporting the movement anonymously through her writing and one of her outstanding writing entitled Marriage. That was the poem we are going to discuss about it in the next slide. Talking about this poem, Marriage was consists of more than 300 lines and became one of more the longest poem, also the most complex one. Even though she wrote poem about marriage life problem, Moore never had a marriage experience or encountering one of them. She wrote this poem as a manifestation of her feeling after looking at her miserable and loveless friend marriage. In this poem, Moore changed perspective many times, switching from Adam to Eve to disinterested narrator. Assuming that the narrator is more herself, then she places herself in a strange position as the authority on an enterprise into which she never entered as she was a virgin at the first. And enough of that. Then we are moving to summary and analysis line. It, it is going to be a long explanation, but I try to explain it as short as possible, keeping the audience from yawning wide. So please listen to it carefully. The poem begins with more rhetoric quotation about marriage as private obligation, but being held as public promises. Okay, let me make myself smaller. Alright. Moore disapproved of the public ceremonial and support that the marriage vow would be better shared between two rather than in front of crowds and witnesses. The place of the crowd seems only to notarize that agreement rather than to offer any sort of added emotional depth to the vow. He claimed that even though we have psychology, which supposedly explain everything, it still explains nothing about the human heart and the interaction between the sexes. See, take for example Eve. Eve present as a beautiful woman expert in three languages, English, Germany, and French. However, she won't both a commotion and quiet. Eve claimed, I should like to be alone. But Adam did not want to happen, and he suggests, why not be alone together? Eve contains self and word where she can articulate her desire, is suddenly met with an intruder who claimed in his own circular rhetoric to want the same as she, and to be able to attain their mutual desire. However, Moore suggests that Adam and Eve in the garden was only this amalgamation, which can never be more or than an interesting impossibility. Perhaps marriage was simply never meant to truly work, even those wed in literal bliss could not stay the course, getting themselves in trouble their first time out. Eve referred to marriage as that strange paradise unlike flesh, stones, gold, or stately buildings, the choicest piece of my life. The heart rising in it instead of peace as a boat rises with the rising of weather. And switching to Adam, more as the narrator described him as beautiful and dangerous. Adam is alive with the possibilities of what he might be able to achieve. He sees himself as an idol, and idol need an audience to be acquired. The first audience he had was Eve, but Adam was unnerved by her silence, and he finds himself impelled by his illusion of fire that is love. Moore continued her poem by sharing the stories of Heman and mocking him as overgrown Cupid. She also mentioned about Diane, the virgin hunters, and Esther banquets. This was allegory that related to marriage life, problem, and the core philosophy of it. And apart from marriage life, the next stanzas talk about the battle of sexes, about how a man saw women as collectible and consumption things, or how a woman saw a man as a nomad insect who places a ring on her finger to settle forever. He also talked about the story of Columbus with the egg, about how a sacrifice is needed for maintaining a long marriage or relationship. He ends this poem with Daniel Webster quotation, liberty and union, now and forever. And then it's enough for the analysis and the summary. Moving aside, let's talk about the poem themes. This poem has three themes, has three main themes, which are the marriage problem, men and women, and the last one is sacrifice. And the next one is we are going to discuss about literary device. Moore in this poem is become the main narrator, but not the soul, as Adam taking a part as he and Eve as she in this poem. And the tone of this poem is cynical, full of irony and disdainful. This poem used two settings of time, which is modern time and the Garden of Eden time, or before Adam went to Earth. Then we are going to discuss about the metaphor, simile, and irony. The metaphor that we use in this poem as the example is, and the exact example is the nightingale refusing to sing, which is the metaphor for Eve refusing to do what Adam wants her to do. And here are the simile of the poem. The first one is a wife with a hair like a shaving brush, and the second is a life with words vibrating like a cymbal. And then the irony of the poem is calling a marriage as an enterprise, and the second is the spike hand which stand with the mark of independence. Oh well, that marked our adventure came to the end. Looking back, it seems that we have talked about a lot of things. Even though I kinda tired of recording this, I didn't regret a single thing and hope that you feel same. Once again, I want to send my deepest gratitude for being with me from the beginning and the last minute of this video. Please forgive me if you found any flaw I made while speaking or delivering the material. That will be my last statement. Thank you and goodbye. See you in the next video. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.